Hello, guys, and welcome to another edition of Pink Sock Reacts. I'm kind of flying solo right now. I think Gorak slept in. It happens. But I'm going to be discussing that 90s show. It is a direct continuation of the story from that 70s show, but it takes place 15 years after the last episode of that 70s show. This show is it's about, sorry, Leah Foreman, who is a smart, snarky teenager who craves adventure. Her parents are, of course, Eric Foreman and Donna from the original series. Eric wants to take her to this Star Wars convention because he's a genius when it comes to Star Wars. He named her, of course, Leia from Princess Leia. Wanted her middle name to be another Star Wars reference. I believe, I forget what he said he wanted her middle name to be off the top of my head, but Donna didn't agree with it. Now we also follow in this series because she decides that she wants to stay in Wisconsin with Kitty and Red, our beloved parents from that 70s show, now our grandparents. God, this show makes you feel old because it's the same amount of time between the 70s show and when it was released in the 90s, the same amount of time as almost the same amount of time as now in the 90s show. But Red and Kitty are all excited because they've had an empty nest for a while. Eric's like, no, you're not staying here. Donna then says it's a good thing that you stay here and get to have a adventurous summer vacation like we did when we lived here. So Leia's all excited. She gets to stay with Red and Kitty. She ends up meeting friends. I'm not going to spoil anything on this episode, but she meets friends. Gwen, who's a rebellious riot girl with a loyal heart. You have Jay Kelso, who is charming, flirty. He's a man whore, pretty much, like his father, who we know from that 70s show, Michael Kelso. So he ends up being Leia's kind of love interest through the series. Then you have Ozzy, who's an insightful and perceptive teen who is openly gay, which is cool to have in the series. You have Nikki, who is Nate's ambitious and intelligent girlfriend. And I didn't mention Nate yet, but Nate is Gwen's easygoing, fun-loving older brother, but also is Nikki's boyfriend. And the series follows a lot of teen angst. It follows a lot of the things that teenagers deal with, love and all that fun shit. It is very reminiscent of that 70s show, I believe so. It has a bit of a different feel, but it's the same old house. It's the old cast. A lot of people are judging the new cast because it sounds like they're reading from a script and their dynamic's kind of weird. I didn't necessarily see that. It was kind of quirky. It was kind of weird because there's laugh tracks and stuff, but it's the same charm as that 70s show. That 70s show had that laugh track. And it kind of gives you that feel of it's like a 90s sitcom instead of like a modern sitcom, which I think is really cool as well. I love all the characters in this show. And a lot of the characters do kind of shadow and kind of like mimic the previous characters in a little bit of a sense, which was a complaint of some people, not of mine. But you have, of course, Kitty and Red Foreman playing Kitty and Red Foreman. Leia is like her father, Eric, in this series. Gwen is basically, I don't know which character they're comparing her to. Let me try to. I know we have of course, Jay Kelso is like Kelso. Ozzy is like Fez. Nikki is the ambitious, intelligent girlfriend of Nate, who is the dumb. Like, it's basically you get what I'm saying. It's like a shadowing of the other characters. Sorry, I just woke up. So, but yeah, like you have that shadowing. The theme song. It's a new theme song. That was my complaint. I wasn't a big fan of it. I don't think it really shadowed the 90s very much. Like the 70s show theme song was In the Street, sung by Cheap Trick, 70s band. That 90s show was more of a punk rock feel. And yeah, the 90s was punk, but I think it would have been cool to have like a 90s style, like more of a popular 90s artist doing it. Nothing against the lovely woman that did that. I'm trying to remember her name. I think it's Brett Anderson of the Donnas, which the Donnas was popular, don't get me wrong, but it was more of a punk rock feel. And punk rock wasn't really huge in the 90s. It was more of a grunge era kind of style. But that 90s show has a lot of the same cast and characters. It has the same feel. They have a lot of cool shit going on in the basement. Let me tell you about all the basement scenes, man. They find their dad's old weed. They smoke it. They end up meeting up with Leo in the show, which, if you're not familiar, Leo is played by Tommy Chong, who is a 70s icon when it comes to cannabis. They smoke his weed too. He's in a couple episodes, very notable episodes. Some of my favorite scenes is done by him, which it's me, you know. If you know anything about me, I'm a Cheech and Chong fan, so it's cool to have him back, especially after everything he's been through. Now, people are wondering, and I know this has been answered multiple times, but how do they acknowledge the fact that Hyde's not in it because of the whole Danny Masterson shit? They don't mention him. They don't acknowledge him. They don't touch on it at all. And I think it's a good thing and a bad thing. A lot of people are hating on it because they don't even mention it. But I mean, this is 15 years after the original. There's friends that I don't have that I had 15 years ago. And I don't really mention them that much unless somebody else does. So like, maybe they'll mention them in the next season because they did renew for a next season, I believe 16 episodes. So that would be fucking cool. Now, I talked about all the good things. There are a couple bad things about it if you're really paying attention. They're in a video store. There's a lot of things that are not 90s. Like there's movies, references and shit that took place, like the movies came out after the events, because I believe that 90s show takes place in 1995. And there's some movies in there that that wasn't released till 97. There's some stylish choices or ways that they talk that didn't become popular until the early 2000s. But I didn't live in Wisconsin, so I don't know how they spoke back in the 90s. And I was born in 92. I wasn't really a teenager in the 90s. But it's a very good nostalgia thing, because not only is it nostalgia for that 70s show fans. I was young watching that 70s show. It was more of a, for me, I'm being joined by Noami. Let's see. Noami, I was just kind of talking about that. I was talking about that 90s show. I'll get you a little caught up here. That 90s show is about, and everybody already heard this, but that 90s show is about Leah, who is the daughter of Eric and Donna from that 70s show. She ends up going to her grandparents' house in Wisconsin, which the house is untouched. It looks like they haven't touched a damn thing since the 70s. We are then told basically that Eric is some kind of a specialist in Star Wars. That's why her name's Leia. And she ends up staying. She ends up staying with the grandparents, even though Eric don't want her to, but she ends up staying with the grandparents. And she ends up smoking Eric's weed that was found in the basement and a bunch of other shit. It's a very nostalgic feel. They have the camera thing, the old school. Do you watch that 70s show, right?
Yeah, I've watched the whole series, but it was quite a few years ago.
Well, they do the whole.
Watched all the series.
They do the camera thing, and the cool thing about the first time they did it in this series is it was with Eric, Donna, Red, and Kitty, and they're all sitting there upstairs playing cards, and Red's like, "You are upstairs people now." And they're like, I thought it would happen, but not this soon. And there's like smoke kind of like hinting at the old school cannabis scenes, but it's actually Kitty. She was burning food. there's a lot of nostalgic value. I heard this one person say that it kind of feels like a Disney series and not really a fucking that 70s show. I disagree. However, the one thing the new cast can touch up on for the next season is their dynamic could be a little bit better, but we can't really judge that much because they're like 14, 15, like they're young. And the thing I love that they're doing is they're doing the same thing that 70s show did. They brought in people that weren't actors before, at least not popular actors before, and helping them with their career. This is the funny thing that I thought was cool. There's this kid in town that she meets, and his name is Jay.
Yeah.
And we find out that he is Jay Kelso. He is the son of of Kelso from that 70s show. She's the son of Michael Kelso. Fez is in this series too. The thing with this series is the guest stars that we get are awesome. We get Eric Foreman, we get Jackie, we get Kelso, we get Leo, we get Bob. Yes, Bob. We get like a bunch of people from the past, and we also get Brian Austin Green, which I don't know if you know who Brian Austin Green is, but he was the role of he played in Beverly Hills 90210. He did a kind of a dream sequence that was kind of in the style of Beverly Hills 90210 as himself.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which is cool because that 70s show, if you ever watched that 70s show, anybody listening, they always would implement 70s actors or icons or whatever to bring back that nostalgia, which is cool because similar to that 70s show, this is bringing in the nostalgia for the 90s people. Now, the thing that has upset some people is they don't pay attention to the exact time period. That 70s show was very, very set to the 70s.
It was, yeah. It was very good, that, yeah.
The 90s...
How it was done.
The 90s show, there's some movie references and stuff that didn't come out till after 95 when this takes place.
Okay, yeah.
All right, Greg. We just kind of went over the story a little bit.
Sorry, my phone was ringing a couple of minutes ago.
You're good. I don't know what's going on with Greg. He's been freezing a little bit, but that 90s show I think is amazing. It's incredible. Greg, what do you think? I went over the story a little bit. I mentioned what it's about. I'll let you tell us what you thought of the show.
I thought the storyline was really good. I thought like the whole storyline, everything. I like how they were more focused on the new people, like Eric's kids. I like when Red found out that dude was Kelso's son, and he's like, no, not when Kelso came up to get his son or whatever, and Red's like, no, because like he couldn't. I thought it was fucking great. But then like once you get to halfway through the seasons, they start introducing the old cast again, with Fez. Donna's dad was in there for like one episode or something like that.
That was really sad. And we will get into why his appearance was sad, but I'll let Greg continue his thought.
Yeah, I kind of like how when the kids were taking over the basement, it's sort of like reliving what Eric and Donna and Hyde and that were doing back in the 70s.
And Leah ended up with a Vista Cruiser, which was Eric's car.
Yeah. I thought it was great. Like, I remember when Eric said something to his daughter or something like that. He said something like, if if you're coming running late or something, I'll stick my foot in your ass or some shit like that.
Oh no, she was leaving the room like all upset.
Yeah.
Like, if you get back here, I'll put my foot in your ass.
Yeah, or something like that. And then Red Foreman was like, I was like, in a million years or something like that. I'm so proud of you. It's like you hitting a home run when you never made one anyway. The joke's still there. Like I thought it was good.
The thing is, though, that I will say that they need to improve on in the next season. They did focus a lot on the new characters, but they also relied on Red and Kitty.
Yeah,
too
I know.
much
Yeah.
when it comes to that. But here's a fun note. Do you know who one of the executive producers are of this show? Kurtwood, the guy who plays Red.
Oh, really?
They made him the executive producer, one of the executive producers of the show, which I thought was cool as hell.
Yeah, I thought it might have been like David Turner and stuff like that.
I don't think David Turner had anything to do with this one.
Not the director?
Yeah, I don't know, because for some reason Wikipedia don't have the director listed.
Okay. I can probably search it up quickly.
Oh, no, not directed by him. It's directed by Gail Mancuso.
Yeah.
And then the last two episodes are directed by Laura Prepon.
Oh, okay.
That's I think that's the actress that played Donna.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's her name, her real name, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The scene that made me kind of get goosebumps a little bit, and this is kind of stupid for some people, but there's a scene in the show where they go to Blockbuster. Well, they can't call it Blockbuster because Blockbuster copyright, whatever. But they go to a video store and they're trying to find Clerks. And they're like, the guy's like, well, there's only one copy of Clerks that we have. And the same guy has had it for 6 months or something like that. And they're like, Leah's like, we got to find this person. So she goes to Kitty, and Kitty's like, I'll help you find them. They end up going to the house, knock on the door, and it's fucking Leo.
Yeah.
And Tommy Chong, I must say, looks great for everything he's been through in these last few years. And
they all look good.
He was like, you guys trick-or-treaters?
Yeah.
And
they all look good.
They look amazing. The cool thing, fun note for those that don't know this, Kitty is wearing, the woman that plays Kitty, I forget her real name off the top of my head. Deborah.
Yeah.
Deborah. Her name's Deborah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Deborah J. Rump, whatever her name is.
Yeah, she actually, I believe, is wearing a wig for this series, but when she did that 70s show, that was her real hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was amazing on that.
Hearing her laugh again gave me goosebumps.
Yeah. But like, how funny is Fez? Like, he still has that same Fez character a bit in this one.
Yes.
Like, that hasn't really gone, but like, it looks really different now.
Yeah, and Fez plays the love interest of Kitty's friend, I believe, or neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because she's mentioning him, and you don't get to see that it's Fez yet. And she's mentioning this guy. She's like, oh, he's a lover. But the thing is, I don't feel like it's going anywhere. But every time I try to tell him no, he charms me even more, and I end up sleeping with him, and it's fucking Fez.
Yeah. Yeah. What you call it? They like he like paid for a rent or some shit like that. He'll let her stay at his house. But like, I like in the last couple of episodes is it Fenton?
Mm-hmm.
He comes back in there, and those two start having an argument again. Like,
one of the things that I mentioned before we came on, and I kind of like blacked out when it came to like which character was the shadow of who, but some of the younger cast kind of foreshadow or kind of shadow the original cast a little bit. And
a little bit, yeah.
And that kind of explains the tagline of that 90s show. I don't know if you guys know what the tagline is, but it's times change, but teenagers don't.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And
Have you how far have you watched any of the episodes yet, Naomi?
I've not watched it yet. I've watched all of the 70s show.
Yeah, you have to
start
watch
to the
this.
end. Yeah, I've got to watch it. I have not had a chance to watch it this week.
Just when you're at work or something, just watch on your phone when you're at work.
It has.
If it's 20 minutes, I might be able to get through an episode in my break.
Yeah, easy.
The thing I love about this show, and I adore it, a lot of people were complaining about it, and I will kind of touch on that. One of the complaints I heard was somebody said it felt more like a adult version of a Disney show instead of that 70s show.
Yeah, some people were complaining about how the jokes in that were a bit plain. It was a bit stale.
The other complaint I heard, and I'll kind of defend this complaint, the laugh track seemed out of date.
Yeah. Well, how would you rate the new kids in this one?
The new kids, there is some work that can be done because there are some scenes where it sounded like they were reading from a script instead of actually talking.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to hate on them too much for that because they're like 14, 15. I can't act like that.
Oh, no, they're quite new actors and actresses then.
Yeah,
you got to remember too, in that 70s show, Mila Kunis was 14, 15 years old at the time.
Yes, she was. Yeah, she was very young.
And her first kiss was Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then all of them were all young then. I think the youngest was Mila Kunis, and I think the eldest would have been like Topher Grace or something like that at the time.
Some of the people did complain that the new cast is younger than the original cast. And my thought is they're going for longevity. With that 70s show, the fucking cast was 16 years old for 3 years.
Yeah. I like how they brought when they brought in the foreign kid. I like how they brought in an Asian kid, not another Latino kid. Yeah, even though it would have been nice if they got in another Latino kid, but I thought like this Asian kid was pretty cool in this one.
Yeah,
Ozzy was pretty much the homosexual equivalent of Fez.
I kind of knew that they were going to bring something like that in to that 90s show because now in TV shows these days they're bringing in a lot of like gay and lesbian characters in movies and shows. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing I love about this show is it's double nostalgia. It's nostalgia for people that was in the 90s, and it's also nostalgia for those that love that 70s show. Yeah. And the reason, here's my defense about the laugh track. Back on the laugh track. That 70s show, if you go back and watch it, it looked like you were watching a 70s sitcom, not a new show.
Yeah, easy.
It looked like a 70s sitcom, and that's what they're going with that 90s show. It looks like a 90s sitcom. And I think the laugh tracks of this show were perfect. I couldn't have imagined it without.
Yeah.
The laughs in the audience laughs.
Yeah, like the canned laughter that a lot of people hate.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's
Now, do you know why canned laughter was put into shows?
I like that.
What's that?
Do you know why canned laughter was put into shows?
No, why?
No.
Because the canned laughter was kind of to let the people at home know when to laugh. It's tricking the brain into thinking the show's good. But the thing is there's a lot of shows that are good without it, but the canned laughter adds to the show because it makes you feel nostalgic. Because that's what you were used to. But
it was filmed in a live audience anyway, wasn't it?
It was, but the canned laughter is added because the live audience couldn't be heard over the microphone, so they added the laughter in the studio.
Yeah, because that would have been so good to be in the live audience and watch them film an episode or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know
that'd be a really good experience.
Was that 90s show shot in front of a live audience? Because I didn't hear anything promoted about it.
Yeah, it was.
That's cool as fuck. I want to be there for the second season.
It would have to be. It just wouldn't be the same if it wasn't. You know what I mean?
Now, how would you rank this, though, when comparing to that 70s show? Because that 70s show is one of the few shows that I give 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll give that 90s show an 8.5 out of 10.
I give it an 8.5 because that can easily become a 9 out of 10 next season when their acting starts building and they start really working together as a cast.
Well, next season's going to be 16 episodes long.
Because the only complaint I had, and it's nothing against the current cast at all, because I'm not an actor, but it seemed like a lot of the like well meshed together actors was the veteran cast.
Yeah, like it worked out so well on that 70s show.
Yeah.
But the only thing that I didn't like was in that 70s show was the guy that replaced Eric.
Yeah.
Because Eric went off to do Spider-Man 3 at the time, I think.
Mm-hmm. Who replaced
And then I think he took a break.
Who replaced him? Who was the actor?
I can't remember the name, but his name was Randy, I think it was.
Are we ever going to see him?
I hope not. To be honest, like he wasn't that great, but like everybody else was. But it takes hard to replace somebody that's been in the season for like 6-7 years.
What I thought was weird, though, about that 90s show, looking back, I loved it. Don't get me wrong. But back on the new cast, it seemed like they were going more professional with this show, which kind of took away some of the charm. Because if you watch that 70s show, you can see Hyde or the other characters breaking character in the background, laughing, or like they would improvise lines and shit. And it seemed that this was more scripted.
Yeah. Eric and Donna's child in that show, she kind of felt like it was like she was sort of like acting like Eric.
Yeah, instead of herself.
Yeah, but I like how like yeah, she still had that same humor like Eric.
Mm-hmm.
The chick, all the new cast seemed like they had like the same old vibe from that 70s show a little bit. The humor wasn't there that much, but like,
well, what the new cast needs to do and what the whole group of people need to do that's making the show, let the characters let some of their real self shine through. That was the joy of the 70s show. They let some of their real life character come through, and they let them kind of like be more comfortable. Because if you watch the old cast seemed more comfortable because they were within their characters because they let them be that character.
Yeah.
I'll see what the next series, see how that goes.
I can't wait.
I'm glad that they renew it.
Because
I'm glad that they renew it for another season. Hopefully, maybe for another 3 or 4 or 5 seasons of it.
Hopefully, yeah.
And here is, and I said that I would mention this earlier, so I'm not going to forget it. Bob's appearance.
Yeah.
Here's why it was tragic and very sad. Now, I said I wouldn't spoil anything, but we kind of spoiled a little shit here and there, but still. Bob shows up and he wants to make an impact on Leia's life.
Yeah.
Because he's a grandparent too. Now, what we need to remember is at the end of that 70s show, Bob ended up getting a divorce and he ended up moving to Florida.
Yeah.
He's only in town to make an impression on Leia. So he keeps trying to do this crazy shit so that she will remember him, but Red keeps outdoing him. And he explains to Red, he's like, listen, she's going to forget who the hell I am. You guys get to see her all the time. So it's tragic because Bob thinks he's going to be forgotten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's not around. Now, what I think would be cool, and this is kind of what I hope happens in season 2, Bob moves back to Wisconsin.
I reckon I'll start introducing more and bringing more of him, and maybe start bringing in a bit more like the other characters, how they brought in Fenton in the last 2 episodes.
See, I like that, but I think they should. The issue is with shows like this is they need to have because that 90s show did this, a perfect blend of nostalgia and modern cast. Because if you have too much nostalgia, then you're just relying too much on the old show and not coming up with new ideas.
Yeah. But I kind of felt like this whole series was sort of like similar to that 70s show. But
it was just that 70s show, but reboot. It's not really a reboot. It's just a continuation.
In the 90s.
Yeah.
This is a continuation.
That 80s show was rubbish.
It was by the same creators. I found that out the other day.
I've not seen that one at all.
Oh,
I've not
really?
heard of it.
That didn't last long because of the lack of ratings. But I think David Turner, the director and the creator of that 70s show, I didn't think he had no part in that 80s show because I think he didn't know. I think he wasn't sure on how the plot will go next from that 70s to 80s show. Well, that's the reason why he didn't do it.
Well, the creators of that 80s show, and I don't want to really get too far into this shit, but the two people that was the creators of it was Mark Brazil, Terry Turner, and then there was Linda. But Mark and Terry both were also the creators of that 70s show and that 90s show. The reason why, and I don't really want to get too far into it because I do want to end up doing it on this show too, that 80s show, kind of us tearing it apart. They didn't have anything to do with that 90s show. I think what they should have done, because that 70s show was kind of at an end towards this time. They had like a couple of seasons during that 80s show, but it was towards the end. They should have had it just be they graduated in the 70s and then just continue the story into the 80s.
Yeah. But then I guess it comes down to all of the contracts as well.
Yeah, and the cast being able to do it.
Yeah.
I think this sounds good though with the grandchildren and I think this.
I thought it was good.
Seems like it's going to work with them being the teenagers.
Well, I hope they introduced Kelso's daughter in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Kelso had a daughter and nobody mentions that in this show.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of non-mentions in that 90s show that they could bring up, but I reckon they're saving it for the next couple of seasons.
Yeah, I'm wondering what's going on with Hyde because I guess
I reckon he's going to be locked up, dude.
I know the whole Danny Masterson shit's like crazy, but a lot of people are saying that if he is found innocent, because there is a chance of that he might be in that 90s show. Now, with situations like this, and I'm not going to go too far into what's going on with him, but with situations like this, it is difficult because you don't want to wish that it happened. You hope that he's innocent because you hope that there was no victims.
Yeah.
But you also don't want to hope he's guilty because there are victims, but you also don't want him to be innocent because you don't want women to be lying about that kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad they didn't bring up Hyde at all in that 90s show. Yeah, because obviously with everything what was going on.
Yeah.
Ashton Kutcher said in an interview, he said he's not 100% sure what's going on.
No. And what's fun is fun fact though is this isn't the first time that 70 show cast reunited. This is the first time they've done it under a sequel to that 70 show or mentioned that 70 show. They all reunited for The Ranch.
Yeah.
Completely unrelated.
Ashton Kutcher and Danny and Fez was in there.
And
Red. Yeah. For a couple of episodes, I think.
And the only person that wasn't really part of that, I think, I don't think Kitty was in it. But
no, The Ranch was good.
The cool thing is just the way they did this series, bro. Like, I can't stress enough how much I loved it. There are some little things to tear apart, like the fact that a lot of the 90s references was early 2000s references.
Yeah, they did mention that on a clip on YouTube or wherever it was, how I was saying in the video store, how if you look at the back, there was a movie or there was something that was like from the 2000s.
Okay, I will touch on that. It wasn't 2000s. I saw that video. It was late 90s, and the show takes place in 95.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
That 70s show, I believe the first episode says it takes place sometime in the 70s, so they can kind of get away with late 70s shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it wasn't it like in 72?
Well, the first episode, the pilot episode just said 70s. And then as the series progressed, it said like 76, I think.
Yeah. I
the whole 8 seasons, that's weird.
Occasionally.
Yeah, but the pilot episode, I don't think actually came out and said what exact year.
Yeah. It would have been good if they started off like at 72 and each season go 73, 74, 75.
What I would have liked is if this show started off in 1990 so that they have like time to like progress the characters instead of like, oh, it's 95, so we only have 5 years until it's 2000s.
My only complaint about this though was the theme song.
Yeah, that's a complaint. Also, the fact is like the theme of the show, like the last episode was called Kids of America, which was an 80s song.
Yeah.
But like it's 95. A lot of the popular things in the 80s were popular in the 90s.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that song being around in 1995. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a big.
It
was a theme song for kids that were getting out of school and shit.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was good.
It was a great show. The kind of hidden things that was from the early 2000s wasn't that bad. The 95 thing, like a lot of things came out after 95 that was in there, which is understandable. I mean, Stranger Things did the same thing. It takes place in the 80s, and they have these big fucking walkie-talkies that didn't exist till the 90s. Like, it happened.
Yeah. I think that there was some walkie-talkies around in the late 80s.
Yeah, but this show takes place in the early, like the mid to early 80s, and also the walkie-talkies they had. These kids were like kind of depicted as being like kind of like not rich, and those walkie-talkies were like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. There's no way.
Oh, they were expensive, yeah.
Yeah, no middle-class person.
I never had one.
Yeah, and the thing is in that show, and not to like go off to a different show, but in that show, that those walkie-talkies, not every kid had them, and they made it look like every kid did.
Yeah, no, we had cups on 2 cups with a string between. Telephone.
Back on the 90s, though, it's cool seeing them use wired phones again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like that was cool. I'd love to see them bring out like 90s toys, like them playing on Tamagotchis and shit.
Do they have a scene as well where the kids are talking on the phone and they have to sit in the corridor or something and not up in the rooms with, obviously because there's not as many cordless phones around.
I believe they have scenes where they're in their bedroom and they're on the phone and it's corded.
Yeah.
They're on the phone but with the cord, yeah.
I like how Oz was trying to show Kitty how to use the computer or something like that.
Yeah, they also have a 90s computer.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. I'm looking forward to watching this.
Yeah, they teach Kitty how to use the computer, and Red's like, I'm not going to use that damn thing. The government's going to watch me.
Yeah. His jokes are never old in that show. Man.
Yeah, like, it feels like you're watching a 90s sitcom.
Yeah.
If you ignore some of the, like, little subtle things that aren't 90s at all, but it still feels like a 90s sitcom with the fucking canned laughter,
You reckon that was in the next season? You reckon they'll show more of Donna and Eric and Kelso and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think they'll make appearances, but I hope they don't overdo it. Yeah, the nostalgia. Because me personally, I want to see where this show goes with the current cast, because that was the appeal of the 70s show. It wasn't the nostalgia necessarily; it was the new cast was making it feel like the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you rely too heavily on the old cast, then that just shows that you don't have enough confidence on the new cast.
I wasn't expecting to see the kids in the show, though. Like, I knew that probably maybe something might happen 20 years after that, but I wasn't expecting them to have kids and like the kids take over. No, like seriously, I thought they'll probably be more focusing on the afterlife of Donna and Eric and stuff like that.
That would be cool.
That's what I thought. But it's the new generation.
What I thought was going to happen is like it was going to be like, I didn't think Red and Kitty was going to be as major of a role as they are. They're pretty much main characters too.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was going to be like kind of like Full House kind of thing, where Red and Kitty were going to retire and go somewhere, and Eric and Donna end up with the house.
Yeah, that's what I thought
it
too.
would be like that, but I'm glad that Red and Kitty are in it and they're playing a big role in it.
I have a feeling though, because nothing against them, but I believe the guy that plays Red is like he's getting close to like retirement age. So I think either he's going to eventually in season 2 or 3, they're going to give the house to somebody.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Still happens.
maybe.
He still has it.
Oh, he does still have it, and I'm very impressed. I didn't even realize he was nearing 80 years old.
No.
Like, he still got it. I'm not saying anything about that, but like, I have a feeling in the next few years, he might want to just take a break. And I think the best way to do that is let somebody else have the house.
Yeah.
I
hope it stays for another maybe 3 or 4 seasons after this.
I think this, and I'll get hate for this, but I think this is the best continuation series that came out so far.
Yeah.
I wanted to love Fuller House. I really did. I wanted to love Girl Meets World. I really did, because I was a fan of those shows growing up. But they did not have the same feel like the 90s show.
Vibe.
Okay.
The 90s show.
I liked Fuller House. I liked Full House and Fuller House.
Well, this
Full House was great, but Full House, I only watched one episode one time and I turned it off.
See, I
liked it.
I didn't give it much of a chance, but it didn't feel like Full House. You know what I mean? You were watching it to get the same feel, but it didn't feel like Full House. This show feels like that 70s show, but also feels like a new show at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good. Yeah.
Like, it has.
I still liked Fuller House, but
like with that 90s show, you can literally not watch that 70s show and still enjoy that 90s show.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah.
But for fans of that 70s show, though, they get the little like nods of the original, like the Vista Cruiser being given to Leia, like shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I loved it, man. I finished it in like a couple of days.
I was hoping Eric would have given the Vista Cruiser to her because it was his car.
It was, yeah. But other than that, but then I thought it was cool that they were giving more roles to Fez than anyone else in the original cast.
Fez was good. I like that he became a hairstylist. That's perfect for him.
Well, that was his job. Like that was pretty much his dream job from the 70s show. It was,
yes. Yeah.
True. But I'm glad that he finally made it to being a huge hairstylist.
Yeah. It fits him so well, too.
And it was cool seeing Eric and Donna sitting on the car after all these years talking about parenthood.
Yeah. Was it like in the final episode, didn't they all sit in the basement?
Yes.
And smoke the joint together?
Yes, there was actually a scene, and I thought this was cool. There was a scene in the show towards the very end of an episode where it was the original cast doing the circle thing, but it was younger them. Like it was an unused that 70s show scene, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And it was all of them in a circle, kind of like a nostalgia thing. Because I don't think it was them now doing that, but it's hard to tell. Okay. It's hard to tell because Topher Grace hasn't aged. He looks like he's fucking 16 still.
Yeah. It's kind of creepy, eh? He's an alien.
Like he has not aged at all.
Yeah.
Now here's some trivia about the show, if I can find some good trivia. That 70s show co-creator Terry Turner actually cried during the first episode because it's the same exact set from the original, and it was their first time seeing it in like fucking.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
It literally looks like somebody pulled a fucking blanket off of the original set and just said go. Like it's they haven't.
Let's do this.
It's the same dusty, crusty old couch in the basement. It's the same everything. Even Kitty made a comment. She's like, here's all of your dad's old shit. He had some magazines I guess he didn't want me to see, but I threw them out.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking cool. I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but Leah was turning 15 during the summer of 95. The year that this show is set, This indicates that Donna became pregnant up to 3 months after Eric returned from Africa on New Year's Eve in 79, which is a very fun fact. Here's another fun thing to note. That means she was born in 1979, correct?
Yeah.
Topher Grace, now it's not the same year, but Topher Grace was also born in the late 70s, the actor who played Eric. Meaning the character that plays his daughter was born around the same time as the actor that played Eric in that 70s show. How old do you feel now?
Pretty old.
This show literally takes place around the same exact time frame period, like the same length of time as when that 70s show first came out. For the 70s to the 90s.
Yeah. Well, I feel old just hearing that.
Like, what the hell? Now, is there anything you guys want to add to this before we say goodbye? Because I would like to also cover the season 2 once it comes out.
No.
So what do you rated it 8.5 and I rated it?
Want to get off and watch it.
You need to. So we rated it what, 8.5?
I need to watch this.
Greg.
Yep.
We ranked it 8.5.
Yeah.
I think we ranked it higher than IMDb. I think they gave it a 7.7.
Yeah, but our ratings are always better.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
I think it sounds definitely a good watch.
It's a great watch. Go check it out. Guys, go check out that 90s show. If you don't like it as much as we did, that's your opinion.
Exactly.
We love y'all. And also make sure to tune in to Pink Sock Podcast. We have Eric 13 coming back on February 13th, which is woo. But love y'all. As always, live long, rock hard.
And one more thing for anyone that is a NBA basketball fan and LeBron James fan, congrats to LeBron James for breaking the all-time scoring level of all time. It was like the first time it was broken in 39 years.
I don't watch sports. I don't know what any of that shit means. But
anyway,
congratulations.
38 years old, playing in the game for 20 years, and he broke the record after 39 years. That's never been broken.
And he's, if I'm not mistaken, like 39 isn't that old, but that's retirement age in NBA.
Yeah. If you're a big sports fan, I've been reading up on his stuff. He spends like over $1 million on his body to keep healthy.
Damn.
Yeah.
$1 million to be healthy? No wonder I'm a fucking lazy sack of shit.
Well, if you think of like sports science now than back when it was in the 70s and 80s, 70s and 80s nutrition was pretty bad.
I think LeBron should make an appearance on that 90s show.
Oh, bro. I'd like to see Alice Cooper make a cameo in that, like what he did on that 70s show.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. He did, yeah. Oh, that was good, that.
I hope they bring in like more musical acts, what they do with that 70s show and stuff like that.
Like Dave Grohl.
Well, Dave Grohl's in it?
No, but have him in that 90s show because he was in Nirvana in the 90s.
Yeah, the grunge era.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Daft
that'd be cool.
Musician in from around there.
Speaking of, congratulations, since we're congratulating people, congratulations to Linkin Park for releasing a new song Friday.
Oh yeah, it was it's an unreleased track apparently.
Yep, with Chester. It came out.
Great news, that.
I believe they said it was originally recorded in the early 2000s.
Hyper Theory era?
I believe so.
So it must be an unreleased track.
No, it was not actually from that era. Hold on. Because I remember what album they said it was from. It wasn't Hybrid Theory. It was...
Meteora?
Yes. It was from the... It was a bonus... It was a unreleased track from the Meteora era.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
But anyway, guys, check out that 90s show. Hanging out. It's cool hearing that again, but it's weird hearing it in a punk rock theme.
Yeah, I know.
I said earlier they should have went with like a grunge band doing it.
They could have done Dave Grohl do it.
Yeah, like Foo Fighters do it.
Yeah.
Like I think that would have been perfect, but might not have a budget for it.
Perfect, yeah.
But love you all, and as always, live long, rock hard.
Oh, and next week we are doing Michael Bolton's Valentine's Day Christmas special. Oh,
yes.
Valentine's special, sorry.
He helped plant the seed in everyone. Love y'all. Live long, rock hard.
Tell me how